How much money do you need to trade? Let's talk about that. Right, so a common question I get from a lot of people if they don't know anything about trading is how much money do they need to actually trade, okay? First of all, the misconception is when they ask me the question, if I put in 500 Rand, how much will I make out of it? Okay, that's a very broad question and that's not how trading works, unfortunately. I can tell people that, you know, if you put in a 500 Rand, you can get a return of 1,000 Rand, which is basically double your investment, okay? But realistically, if you know how to trade, you can set your margins or your goals to 2,000 Rand, okay, from 500. But that's depending on if you know how to trade, okay? How it works is basically, if you invest 500, okay, into trading, you're not investing the entire 500 into the trade that you're taking, okay? You might be investing maybe or risking maybe 100 Rand from that 500 Rand, for example, okay? And if you take that trade of 100 Rand or you risk that 100 Rand and you basically taking a trade and your target is maybe 100 Rand, okay? So you're doubling your investment on that 100. So at the end of the day, if you make 100 from that, you'll basically be, you know, sitting at 600, okay? So that's depending on what trade you take, what time of the day you take that trade, and, you know, either that's the only trade that you're taking for the day. So it really depends on how much you're actually risking per trade. So it's not a factor of, oh, if I put in 500, how much am I going to get out of it? Okay, it doesn't work like that. Likewise, if you put in 1,000 Rand, you basically setting yourself up in a sense of like your risk to reward, okay? So you investing a particular portion of that 1,000 Rand, maybe 200, okay? And you basically taking a trade based on that 200. So if you're risking 200 from that 1,000, you'll be sitting with 800 still, but your risk is basically 200. So for that 200, you're gonna take a trade and maybe you take a slightly scaled up trade and you possibly make 400 or 500 from that. And you'll be sitting with 1,500 just based off that one trade, okay? But that also depends on how you structure your trade out and what your approach is to the markets and what your understanding is of the markets. So in theory, you know, I would advise if someone is working full-time, for example, and you drawing a salary or you're getting a salary of 10,000 for the month, okay? You take away your expenses from that, let's say it's 7,000, for example, in total, and you're sitting with 3,000. I would invest my 1,500 into trading. You with me? So that's how you structure your trading out, and you trade that money for the month or when you particularly can trade, you know, not necessarily at the end of the month, but throughout the week for that first week from that 1,500. Okay, that's basically how it works. So there's no real set amount as to how much you need to trade. Okay. Because a lot of brokers, they're offering these days traders to trade a minimum of 100 Rand. So if you know what you're doing, you can easily build up the capital from that 100. I'm not saying go and trade 100, but if you're a new trader, I would suggest you start with 100 first, you know, and just work your way up from there. Learn all the lessons you can learn from that 100 Rand based on the training or the coaching or the course that you did, and apply that rules to that 100 Rand and see what you can do from there, okay? I wouldn't risk the whole 1,500, for example, okay, or 1,000, whatever you got to trade for the end of the month, okay? So from there onwards, you build yourself up. And now a lot of people are mistaken when they see, like again, I'm going to come back to the pictures of the money and the lifestyle promoters on Facebook and Instagram. They're showing over-exaggerated lifestyles from trading, okay? But that's because they're trading big money. And not everyone, let's be real here, not everyone has a lot of money to trade, okay? So if you got 2,000 Rand for the month to trade, that money you set aside for after you did a course, after you learn how to trade, and after you practice for at least a month or two, okay? Because a lot of guys, they think, okay, because I did a course with X, Y, and Z, he's driving a Porsche, so by next month I'll drive a Porsche too. That's fantasy. Don't fall for the fantasy of what these guys are promoting. You got to look at it from a very educated perspective and not from a gullible perspective, because that's what a lot of people are falling for these days, the gullible perspective of trading, okay? And just think of it in terms of an investment into yourself, into your education, into a skill that you're using for the rest of your life. Because that's what trading is. Once you understand it, once you apply it, once you become successful with it, and success doesn't necessarily mean making 100,000 a month. Okay? Success means being consistent in your trading, being able to make from a 2,000 Rand investment, doubling that to at least 5,000 for the month. You with me? That's consistent. That's becoming successful. That's how you break up your long-term goals in trading. Because realistically, you won't make 100,000 within the first month of trading. Okay? Because a lot of these gurus are making people believe that because they made 100,000 Rand for the week or something, that you will be able to make that within a month, okay, or next week or something. Don't fall for that, please, guys. Okay, there's a realistic side to trading that a lot of these guys aren't actually portraying, because they want to lure you into the illusion of trading. Okay, and I don't do that because, you know, at the end of the day, guys are going to have questions and I'm going to be looked at as a scam. And I don't want to be looked at as a scam, because I want to promote something that's actually genuine, that's actually valuable for you, that you can actually use for the rest of your life, and you can pass that skill on to your kids as well. Okay, because there's too much crap on the internet these days. Let's just put it out there. There's so much misleading information, there's so much misleading marketing that's just putting a lot of people off from trading and actually looking at trading. Okay, and the reality is, if you want to start trading, look at it from a realistic perspective. How much can you afford to trade? 1,000 Rand, 2,000 Rand. You don't have to put down 10,000 Rand. Okay, there's no rush. The markets aren't going anywhere, the charts aren't going anywhere, so you'll have an entire lifetime to worry about how much you can make every month. Okay, so please, guys, be realistic about it. For new traders, just think in terms of, right, what can I risk this month? 500? Okay, that's it. That's all I'm going to set aside for the month. For the rest of the month, if you're a new trader, practice for the whole month and then get into trading the following month. Okay, you're not going to miss out. There's a lot of hype on Instagram and Facebook where traders are putting up the amounts of money they're making, and it gives you a little bit of FOMO feeling. Okay, feeling of missing out. Okay, you're not missing out on anything. In fact, you're just creating anxiety for yourself, and it's not good, and it's not good for your trading either. So rather focus on your own craft and perfect it until you're confident that you can trade whatever amount that you can afford for the next month. All right, guys, share this video, share it with people that you think might get some value out of it, so that they can understand what steps they need to take towards trading, and so that they can sort of have an educated perspective on what trading is instead of what the social media is portraying it these days. All right, thanks a lot, guys. Share the channel, subscribe, click the like button, and I'll chat to you soon.